a real drushy, a really interesting word. I have a kasha on it, so I'll even share the kasha with you on this word, on this Devar Torah. And the pasuk says again. For some reason tonight we're discussing the graduate. Here's to you, everybody. So we have over here, tough crowd tonight, in chapter 39, verse 11. Okay, I got one smile. Late, but I'll take it. It says, as the beginning for what might happen. Now, in the end, it didn't happen. I'll spoil it for you. Nothing happened. Joseph was able to control himself. But the pasuk says that it looks like something was going to happen. And Joseph came into the house. It looks like he was about to do his work. So this machlok is what that means. This discussion, do his work, does it mean that he came in, that he was actually going to succumb to Eishes Potiphar, or no, he came in to do his work, meaning the Torah is just saying that he was just going about his business. And then she seduced him. So there's different ways of looking at this idea. Does it mean that he was going to or not? So we're going to go now with the pshat that he was going to overcome, that the Yitzhahara was going to overcome him, and he was going to actually commit a sin with this woman. So what stopped him, according to that interpretation? So we all know this, right, Max? Remember from school? Shenira Islo Demus Diyokno Shel Aviv. The image of his father came to him, and he saw his father, and that inspired him to abstain from being with this woman. The holiness of his father inspired him to do the right thing. Some say a different shot. Interesting. I like this one better even. Demus Diyokno Shel Aviv. The image of his father, meaning the way the father perceives him. He said he was about to commit the avera, and he said, "I'm going to do this avera. Do you know what my father thinks of me? The image that my father has of me. My father's maksh of me. My father thinks of me. I'm such a holy person. I'm going to do something to tarnish the reputation, to tarnish the way my father looks at me. This might come out. I might get back to my father. It's going to ruin the way my father looks at me." And that stopped him from doing the avera. But now we're going to say I saw a very, very interesting drasha from Reb Meir Mipal Shlam and from the Parshas Vayeishev in the name of Reb Yitzchak Mivorka. A very interesting way that he wants to learn this chazal as to what's going on. The way of Yaakov Avinu was that he dressed the way he dresses. He wasn't interested in dressing. You know, when you're in Rome, you do like the Romans. He didn't have that shita. When you're in Rome, you dress like Yaakov Avinu. That was his shita. Yosef says this firm. He did not have that shita. Yosef had the shita that you want to dress appropriately, meaning with the people that you're with, and the chitzonius will be more with the panemius. The way you dress, the exterior might be able to affect him, and he'll be able to be a better influence on his people. If they think that he's separate, he's not one of them, they can't relate to him, then they might not be able to follow his teachings. They might not be interested. Oh, he's not one of us. He's like from no. So Yosef's shita was that no, you want to dress like them, obviously, appropriately, with tznius and nicer. Not exactly like them, not wild, if they dress wild and bad. But, you want to dress more appropriate, but more with the style of the people that you're around. Now, what happened was, it didn't work. When Yosef saw that by dressing like an Egyptian, still Eishes Potiphar felt that she could try to influence him, Meaning, Yosef had the opinion that if he would be the same silent that he was, although he would dress like the Egyptians, they would realize his greatness, but somehow because he dressed like them, he would be able to influence them for good. But what happened was that it didn't really work totally, because by dressing not the way his father dressed, by dressing the way Yosef dressed, that didn't stop Ish Potiphar from seducing him. He realized at that point, hey, maybe if I would have my father's shita, Ish Potiphar wouldn't seduce me. She'd realize that I'm out of reach. Okay, I can't get involved. I'm not going to mess with him. He'd never succumb to the Yitzhara, because look, he's so holy. But by Yosef, he realized that maybe he was wrong. Maybe my father's shita was right. Because if I had my father's shita, I wouldn't be stuck in this situation. I wouldn't even be seduced. Ish Potiphar wouldn't come on to me, because she'd realize I'm so above that. So that's the way they want to learn this Chazal. Very, very interesting. By the fact that he was put into this situation, that she came on to him, it appeared to him his father's image. Now we learned those words, that it appeared to him his father's image, and that's what got him to stop doing the Avera. Either he realized his father's image of him, or the simple shot, he saw the image of his father, and that inspired him to do tshuva and not to do this. But the way they want to learn this Svarim is very interesting. When he was put into this monster, into this situation, where she came on to him, and he almost succumbed, or maybe he thought about succumbing, or maybe you want to say maybe it wasn't a real havamina, it was only a half of a second of a thought. But that's when he realized that, my father's right. My shita of dressing like the Egyptians might be wrong, because if I dressed like my father, she wouldn't have come on to me. She wouldn't have thought that I would even fall for this. That's the way they want to learn these words. Very, very, very different than the way anybody learns in Torah now. I thought it was so interesting. It appeared to him the way his father's shita was. His father's shita was to always dress like a yid, and therefore that's the proper way to inspire others. That's what happened. He realized at that point that, my father's right. Because if I would have dressed like my father, I wouldn't have even been put into this situation. That's the way he wants to learn the Chazal. It appeared to him the way his father's shita was the correct way. So I have a small kasha on this, but we'll save this for another time. Very, very, very interesting, cute way of learning the Chazal, a little bit different.